I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.
You have a VAC prepaid call from
Gilbert,
an inmate at Auburn, a New York State Correctional Facility. If you wish to accept and pay for this call, dial 3 now. To hear the cost of this.
my first demonstration was the picket line protesting segregated and, more to the point, inferior education for black children in Boston. I don't remember the exact time and place, but the first time I saw him speak on TV, this ripple went through my chest. My heart leapt to his idealism, responding with, "That's what it means to be human, to care about people, to lead a moral and engaged life." Despite my initial defensiveness, Black Power taught an important political lesson. The need was not, as I had once thought, to shake the moral conscience of America. Those in power knew very well what they were doing. The point, rather, was to overturn who had power, from the small elite on top to the vast majority underneath them. Students, in addition to taking a stand on the great issues of the day, were saying something about what kind of institution we wanted to be part of.
We could not be free, grow, and acquire the knowledge we needed in a structure based on oppressing other people. We demanded that the university stand on the side of humanity.
We had been nurtured and mentored. We had blossomed and grown. We had been inspired and learned so much. Students for a Democratic Society was born in response to the courageous breakthroughs of the national liberation movements in the Third World and the determined struggles of people of color within the United States.
The turning point came in January 1967 when Ramparts magazine published a series of color photos of Vietnamese children burned by U.S. napalm bombs. I've never gotten those pictures out of my mind. From then on, for many of us, it was all out to end the war.
We saw how systematically our government crushed peaceful and democratic efforts for the poor. At the same time, revolutionary movements around the world were mobilizing the oppressed and achieving dramatic social change. It was time for us to move from protest to resistance.
The phone wakes us up at 2 a.m. This is Sunny. Everyone has to clear out of the apartment. The familiar but now breathless voice urges. Immediately, don't stop to pack. The 4 of us are out of the Pine Street apartment and into the night in minutes with just the clothes on our backs. We carefully weave our way to another safe house. There we wait until 6 o'clock to send our one non-fugitive back to check out the area. He reports that the Pine Street apartment is swarming with police and FBI.
As my son approached college age, he became the strongest advocate for my expressing my sorrow and regrets for the loss of lives and pain caused by our actions on October 20th, 1981, in a direct and forthright manner. And I've done so publicly on a number of occasions. The colossal social violence of imperialism does not grant those of us who fight it a free pass to become callous ourselves. especially in fighting for a just cause. We need to take the greatest care to respect life and to minimize violence as we struggle to end violence.
From inside prisons, I've seen, in even more detail and with greater intensity, how central and deep racism is in this society.
With a black imprisonment rate something like 8 times that of whites, and especially with mass incarceration as the spearhead to the government's counterattack against the 1960s upsurges in the black and Latino communities.
While I've been kept in the most restrictive of New York's prisons, I have not faced in the total isolation of the supermaxes, such as California's Pelican Bay and the federal prison in Florence, Colorado.
Like all prisoners, I deal with a major loss of control over many aspects of my life, arbitrary authority, and physical separation from loved ones and activities.
But I have a tremendous amount of love in my life.
I've been able to stay engaged politically with the world and our movement. One surprising benefit of prison has been the opportunity to meet, although under these unfortunate circumstances, several ex-Black Panthers who are also political prisoners in New York State. Naturally, each individual is different, but all of them have been special and valued friends with useful analyses of what's happening in the world, thoughtful reflections on history, and a still burning passion for qualitative social change.
Any humane alternative to the present order has to be based on solidarity with the rest of humanity, but also would have to offer a realizable alternative to plunder by showing Americans that there were less prodigal, less destructive, more sustainable, and more satisfying ways to live.
While many complications and limitations create obstacles on the road towards a strong and growing movement, this new surge of energy, spirit, and activism is exhilarating and very encouraging. My fondest hope for this book is that it can be of use in the ongoing struggle. We study history to help us become more effective at making history. What matters most is what we all do from this point on. In Love and Struggle, David Gilbert from Auburn Correctional Facility.
Peace, peace, peace. Good morning, greetings. Welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like Live. Again, I'm Jared Ball, happy to be your host right here in Black Power Media. Greetings, grand rising, and all that good stuff to everybody who's joining us live and who will be here later and checking it out later. Appreciate all of you. Please, again, do hit the like button, the share button, subscribe button, hit the bell, get all your notifications. And reach out and tell somebody that we're doing this here, holding it down for the Remix Morning Show crew until they can reconvene tomorrow morning. Got a number of things to get into today. Looking forward to it. I started that, I played that clip about David Gilbert and promoting a book that he put out a few years ago. Primarily because the latest blast from the Freedom Archives prisoner newsletter, which I encourage people to definitely sign up for, freedomarchives.org. A lot of other great material there as well. But they sent out a note that says, friends, if you have not acted yet, please do so today. Tomorrow is Cuomo's last day in office. And this was sent. So what was his last day? This was sent yesterday. So I guess today is his last day in office. So, dear comrades, please note this most recent last-ditch appeal for David Gilbert. Though there is very little time left with the governor, we have gotten word that David's is one of 2 clemency petitions on his desk. Should Cuomo choose to act at this last moment of his administration, please send around to whomever you think can make a last-minute call, including, of course, but not limited to, any high-ranking folks. Forward. So please, oddly, okay, so the number, okay, wait a minute. Okay. All right, I didn't see that. I'm going to put the number here. Might as well give it a shot. I mean, if let's see, Albany Exec Chamber number they have here is 518 474 8390, extension 3, then 1 to leave message. All right, so if you can, let's call that number and leave a message for the governor to use to go ahead and let this man out. Now, admittedly, again, I keep saying, one of the many tremendous gaps in my own personal work is sustained contact with political prisoners in terms of writing. So it's been some time, but I do remember the one exchange that I did have some years ago with Gilbert. And I tell this part all the time, and I gotta find all my letters, man. Anyway, we moved some couple years ago, and just how it is, it just never fully get unpacked or resituated. But and I just should write again. And in fact, let me call while we're sitting here. At 9 o'clock, by the way, we're going to be talking to the author of Who Stole the Soul? Weaponization of Hip Hop, Bernard Creamer. And then we're going to be also talking, but before that, we're going to get into a number of things, including podcast payola, which is interesting. And a couple things on race and class a little bit. And we were right about Biden. We'll prove that or demonstrate that in just a second also. And then talk a little bit about Netflix's new series, The Chair, which I did start, couldn't help it. And anyway, let's see, 474. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and why we need like, where's the HBCU show?
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Andrew M. Cuomo.
All right, 3.
Information on New York State. Hello, you've reached the office of Governor Andrew M. Cuomo. Our normal business hours are 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. To contact the governor directly, you may send a fax to
518-47... 1 to leave a
message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hey, greetings. This is a message for Governor Cuomo. My name is Jared Ball, professor of media and Africana studies at Morgan State University in Baltimore, Maryland, encouraging the governor on his way out to go ahead and give clemency to David Gilbert, the longtime held prisoner there, and at least David Gilbert. But yeah, let's start there and get David Gilbert out on his way out. That is the governor's. The man has spent more than enough time in prison and has clearly shown he deserves not to be there anymore. So I just want to add one more voice encouraging what I understand is already on his desk, that he go ahead and sign off on that. So again, free David Gilbert, and Thanks for your consideration, Governor Cuomo. All right. So, hope that helps. And encourage folks. So it does work. The number's there. This little thing here. We should go ahead and make those calls. But I had written Gilbert and said at one point in the exchange, and I think I've shared this many times, but that that I thought of him as my generation's John Brown. In that someone who, obviously gives up their as much as you can, their white male privilege for the cause of Black liberation in the most non-liberal, aggressive, and militant ways. And despite Gilbert's own, as you heard in that clip, expressed, well, you heard in the clip how he feels about what happened, and saying that a struggle against empire doesn't excuse all manner of behavior. Granted, from my privileged position, and I want him to be free, so I don't begrudge him his feelings about that. But my point was that, and sort of his response to my calling him John Brown was that he noted some other specific differences in the position that Brown and he had, but which I cannot remember. He was very detailed. He was appreciative, but detailed in why he didn't think that applied. And I think it had something to do with what he was expressing, his preferences for peace, in that clip. And again, I don't begrudge anybody locked up, basically, much of anything, but I am, very John Henrik Clarkian on that. And I used to play the clip at the beginning of my radio show that
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I
like. Has enslaved you and brutalized you and taken away your freedom and sorry about that, your manhood and your womanhood and all of that has been taken. He said, anything you do to get it back is morally justified. So I tend to agree with that. But anyway, so we hope David Gilbert can get out, and I hope that Cuomo on his way out would be so kind and so inclined. So okay, good. We start there. I also want to, again, before we move on, bring it back to someone who I see the numbers getting a little bit larger, so I appreciate that. I'm happy to see that, and just want to encourage again that folks consider their support for Katia Stitt and spread the word. Again, I mean, I just keep saying it. I have not met a better human being in ever, and someone who is always there to support so many in her work and behind the scenes, and it's been said that you don't really know people until you work with them, and having had the chance to work with her and see how she works, again, when nobody's looking, nobody's getting any credit, certainly no money, she always did the right thing, or at least attempted to, I mean, in every possible way, was always worried about everybody else first. So she needs some help. It's ridiculous that anyone should need to crowdfund any medical support whatsoever, but we are in that situation in this world. So if you can, please help her out. The link is in the chat. Please spread the word. Encourage others to do so. Thank you very much for that as well.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like. what I like,